IGT, as we call it, has been part of SVRA for the last few years. Delighted to have them as part of SVRA. They always put on a good show, and I think we're about to see another one. And hopefully the pace car will pull off, and he will, and we'll be racing. So down the Sam Posey straight they come here at Lime Rock. The sun now finally popping out of the clouds just in time for the start of our International GT race. They spread out Group 10 and International GT, and straight into the lead, Steve Katz. Really good job. They will squeeze through that opening turn. Martini in the 6. And the 5 of Justin Earlrich. But side by side, there's already a change of position for the lead as they start to climb through the woods and up the hill, down No Name Straight. Ferrari looking on fine, Vettel sounding the same. Buford at the back with some work to do in that Buick Regal, former stock car. Of course, these Porsches have all the gizmos, so they should be able to deal with this track with both the wings and, of course, ABS brakes and all that is clammed into that car. And it is Steve Katz who leads from Ted Giovannis, Paul Reisman in 3rd place in the 77, Jeffrey Freeman 4th, John Reisman in 5th place. And already starting to get some good battles here. The Interlagen car putting pressure on the car in front. And already Steve Katz building on that lead. He's got it to almost a second after that opening lap. For 2nd and 3rd place. Reisman on the 77 looking for a way past a turn 1, but has he blown his brakes? He certainly braked very late and almost lost it into Big Ben. And that could have ended in the grass, but it didn't. He held on to it well, but he's lost a lot of track position. Well, not too much, but he was right behind and then looking for an overtake. And it wasn't to be. Meanwhile, the leader pulling away. Steve Katz on the podium last time out. Already these top 3 pulled quite a considerable gap to the chasing pack. Buford still at the back in 12th position. And I think I hear the dulcet tones of Mr. Ken Spangler. And it is he. Joining me in the comms, and this is the man who's responsible for these international GT fields. And I know it's a smaller field, Ken, but they're putting on a show.
Yeah, here at this track, 1.5 miles, it's 20 cars is a full place, busy place. Especially when you've got cars as the Enduro, you know, with a number of different classifications and speed differentials. We see the number 6 Camaro, who's very quick. Qualified on a pole really the other day, but then didn't come out in the rain. Starting at the back, will just be making his way through the field, and this could be a big charge up for that SVRA class car through the IGT field.
Yeah.
You can see he's making his way around. He's very quick, and but makes it entertaining for the fans and all the spectators up on the hill.
Yeah, and he's done a good job. I was just explaining how the 458 Challenge car had an off in this morning's race, but clearly the car's okay.
Yes, it was. A tire went down on it. That doesn't help the 3-wheel. Ferraris on 3 wheels don't work that well, but they got it back, and you know, unless for the wear. So there he is out there battling with John Reisman in that silver chrome 911 base car.
Busy weekend for Reisman. Buford making up a few places from the back. Now up to 10th position. So do you get, I mean, obviously you've got big events like Sebring where we saw almost 40 cars, and then we go to the West Coast and we travel around with our world, but Is it the same with International GT? Because you go to all the iconic circuits. Is there one part of the country that is more subscribed, if that's the right word, but you see bigger fields than other?
Well, no, it's been pretty constant. And in that, we've been averaging right around 35 to 40 cars.
Okay.
So, and that's been really since last year, since the COVID year. Our participation increased, by 10 cars per grid. And so at Sebring, as you say, we had 39 cars. At Atlanta, we had 45 cars. And at Elkhart Lake and Road America, we had 34 cars. So, and I'm sure we will be in the mid-30s at Mid-Ohio.
And what kind of drivers do you attract?
Well, these are gentleman drivers, but yet you see the likes of a Hugh Plum or a McClear, pro guy who gets in and works with these sportsman drivers. Obviously, somewhat successful in business or in birth, one of the two, and, have the money to do it because obviously it's not a, inexpensive sport or hobby.
And you get the occasional ringer too.
Yeah, exactly, yeah.
Jay Buford.
Yeah.
Making his way through in the Mountain Dew car. That's a lovely car, isn't it?
Very cool. Yeah, so iconic.
And he's hooting his way through the field up to 9th now. And where next?
We're next Mid-Ohio, 1 month from today. Mid-Ohio, and we have a big contingent from Ohio. Probably our biggest customer base, second to Florida, Georgia, is Ohio.
Yeah, I was at Mid-Ohio for the IMSA a couple of weeks ago, and boy, just like here, those guys, it's a similar sort of track out in the country, but boy, are they passionate about their racing, and do they love to see the crowds and have people there, and they put on a show. They're very passionate about putting on the hospitality and showing you their beautiful track, which it is. And a great place to go racing.
Yeah, it certainly is. Quite honestly, we're very fortunate being partnered up with SVRA. Gives us the opportunity in the menu of racetracks, some of the best in the country. There's not a bad one in the bunch. I mean, after we leave Mid-Ohio, we go to Watkins Glen, then we go to VIR. We're at Savannah, downtown, at the Hutchinson Island Circuit. We go to Coda and finish up the year at Daytona. So there's not a bad one in the bunch.
Not a bad way to go around, is it?
No.
We're looking forward to you coming to Austin, Texas, putting on a show.
Yes, we weren't there last 2 years, so we're looking to going back. Looking forward to that.
Well, Coda, like all the tracks, Lime Rock included, just glad to have racing back. And they had their first fans at NASCAR last weekend. And Lime Rock now doing its traditional Memorial Day Classic and bringing back the fans. Delighted.
I think they had their first rain also, didn't they, at Coda?
But we had plenty of that too.
Yeah, I don't think some of the drivers weren't that happy with that. I heard some comments, not so good.
There's not much you can do about that.
No, I just put the big boy pants on and get used to it. There you go.
Exactly. Same for everyone.
Yep.
Paul Riesman now leads this race ahead of Steve Katz, who had the early lead, so they've been swapping around at the front. And the 77, there you see him. And now we've got a good battle between Katz in the 113 and Ted Giovannis, I think. Minutes left in this one. It's been clean so far. There's Ted. And bit by bit, that number 6. How do you pronounce? Is it Giapatini?
That's about as close as I'd get to it. Yes.
Okay, good.
Yeah. I'll have that and caprese and I'll have tiramisu for dessert.
Okay, good. Would you like some wine with it?
Absolutely. It wouldn't be proper without wine.
Absolutely. We've got a nice fruity Italian red for you. So how long has IGTV going now?
This is our 7th year. Yeah, year 7. And really, at about year 4, and like everything, it takes a while to get traction and, the idea that you're going to be around and people finding out what you're about. And, as I always say, we're a little bit different than the other groups. We're sportsman type of racing, as we say, we present it on a professional platform. and you know, the guys enjoy it. The focus is on two things: having fun during the racing weekend, doing it safely, not tearing up a bunch of equipment, because certainly the trophy doesn't get any more expensive. You know, than the money we spend. It's not really worth it. And hey, it's nice to be able to make it to the next race. So it's all about really the drive time and the enjoyment of the sport.
Yeah, and we missed it, but you have an enduro race, an hour-long race as well. So these guys do get good track time, don't they?
Yeah, it gives them the opportunity and the time to maybe split some time with a pro, as we saw, or just stay in the seat and get in a rhythm, and that's how they're going to learn. It's just really get better. Especially, we have a couple of guys who have never been here to Lime Rock, other than ESPN. That's about it. And that's it's been a learning opportunity. But a lot of them have gotten up to speed and ramped up pretty quickly. Will Walks and Jeffrey Freeman are two that come to mind.
Yeah. At 64, that is Ted Giovannis. Now, I noticed that you've got some entries with two driver names, but so far I've only seen Ted this weekend.
No, Hugh was in there in the enduro.
Okay. Right.
Absolutely.
I'm forgetting.
Yep. Hugh was in there. Yep.
So so that's basically the enduro entry.
Right. Exactly. Yep.
Headlights on then for the number 5.
Justin Ehrlich finished first in the enduro, beating Will Walks in the Cayman 3.4 liter class. They had a good run. Right now, it looks like Will has got the better of him. So they've been swapping back and forth. Will won the first race. Justin won the second. And at this point, Will is finished up. I did talk to Will, and he said he had 7 heat cycles on the last set of tires he was running on, which the economy run doesn't work too well. So, as far as lap time. So I think he's got a new pair of sneakers on, and life's a lot better.
Yeah, it always helps when you got some new tires, I know. For sure.
There's the drone shot. Justin Ehrlich, number 5, going through the S's.
Yeah, I like that angle too, because it's just a little higher than the regular camera angle, and it just shows you a little bit more about the line. What's stunning for me is just how quickly the lap is here. I mean, you started the lap and it's over.
It reminds me of, not quite so bad, but nothing worse than I remember Phoenix in IndyCar. I mean, I think it was a 30-second lap. It's oh my gosh, it was.
Texas is even shorter. The oval at Texas Motor Speedway, I think it's like 22 seconds.
Justin Ehrlich in the 5 Cayman Stuttgart Cup car. Back with International GT, been away for a while. Part of the Reisman clan, actually.
It's funny, I never think of a Cayman as a race car, but it's actually been pretty successful, hasn't it?
Well, it's funny. We started a program back in 2008, which was called, and it was a vintage program I ran. It was called Cayman Inter Series. The magic behind it, and I will say, was that all the cars were the livery of the iconic Porsche race liveries of the past. Okay, right. So there was a hippie car, a martini car, a Lohnbrau car, a Momo car. We had 20 of them on the grid at Sebring that first year. It was fantastic to see. So when Porsche did that in about 2018, okay, remember, I didn't think that was a new idea. I thought it was my idea. But it was a successful series. But honestly, it was very funny. We were talking with Porsche about it. They didn't want a Cayman to be a race car. They said their 911 was a car they always developed as a race car. And that thing kind of went on, and then they kind of said, well, maybe we should. They didn't, let's say they didn't fight us on it. They were very happy. Matter of fact, 78 Caymans were converted to Inter Series cars. And at that time, the Cayman was struggling a bit with sales, but they were very, very happy to sell those 78 cars.
Yeah, and
that's a good move right there.
Success in IMSA. That was a nice move.
That was a good inside-outside move that Steve Katz and John Reisman just went through there. That's good racing.
Yep, excellent stuff. These two have been at it all race long. Putting down ran some big laps now. In the groove, no question about it, the 113. The on-track insurance Porsche of Steve Katz. He's one of your regulars.
No, actually, he's only a regular here at Lime Rock.
Oh, is he?
Yes, this is it. I only see him once a year. Hadn't seen him since Lime Rock 2 years ago. And, you know, he really, I'd like to see him in a 3.6 car, you know, that car at our other races. He drives very, very well. He's threatening to come to Watkins Glen, so maybe we'll see him in September.
That's not far away.
No, exactly.
Yeah, you forget how much, if you're not from the Northeast, you forget how much racing goes on up here. When you combine Mid-Ohio, what goes on in Indianapolis, obviously Watkins Glen, Road America,
right,
and of course, Lime Rock. My first time here, I couldn't believe it coming in here that there was a racetrack in these hills, in them hills.
In the trees, yes, exactly.
I was reading up on the history of it. What a great story.
Yes, yeah, you know, built in the 50s. Was longer at one point, as I said, that exit road down there at one point was about a half mile longer. And, you know, the rebuild couldn't afford to do that, so here it is.
Yeah.
But, you know, if you look at the sports racing, let's say, blue bloods of sports racing, they've all been here.
Yeah.
I saw, by the way, and I didn't get to say hello to our old friend Sam Posey. He was on the golf cart. I didn't get to say hello to Sam. Good to see him out and about.
Yeah.
Him. And I met Sam about 40 years ago, and he came down to Florida and spoke with a group of people down there. And very interesting, because Sam is not all about driving. You know, his Rhode Island School of Design, and he's an artist. And his wife Ellen Grisdiak, we had a very accomplished photographer, and you know, it was a very interesting talk because it was a totally different perspective than I expected. And I always enjoy hearing Sam, talking with Sam, and you know, he's a great treasure to this area, and aptly named Sam Posey Straight because really his namesake should stay on this racetrack.
Yeah, great racing driver, also a great commentator and TV guy, used for many years with NBC.
Yeah.
His voiceovers before some of the Grand Prix were, you know, really got you into the whole weekend, and he set it up nicely. And, yeah, good to hear him, and good to know that he was here. I didn't see him myself, but I heard rumor he was in the vicinity.
Yeah.
So just over 5 minutes to go here in our International GT. So this is Ken Spangler, who puts this group together week in and week out, and has been responsible for taking them around the United States. And Paul Reisman at the moment. Is it Reisman or Reisman?
Reisman. And I'm just wondering, all right, if of the two, John is a tick quicker than his dad, okay?
Oh.
And he put down a 53, and I'm not sure, but if he did give that Paul, I'll give him all the credit in the world. But I wondered if that isn't John in the 4-liter car this time, and Paul in the 3.8 car.
Ah, so you think there's been a bit of swapsies?
I don't know. We'll see when they get out.
Okay.
But yeah. I know they were down in the paddock flipping coins as to who was going to drive which car.
Ah, well, then there's your
So
answer.
I think maybe that's as good a lap as we've seen all weekend. You know, with a 53.
So you think that it could be John who's actually leading the race rather than Paul?
Could be either that or the old man Paul has been feeling his oats. Good for him.
Go.
That's good for him.
He's had 14 months off like everybody else, and now he's raring to go.
Right.
I'm glad to say that Ferrari 458 Challenge car still going strong, as is the 47 of Albert Lukazic. Just noticed the wipers went on there. I hope that's not rain. We've had enough of that.
Yeah, really. Yeah. Track doesn't look like it's changing out there. No, it doesn't look to be.
If it is, it's only a sprinkle.
Yeah.
But he has got the wipers on.
Yeah.
Maybe he's just hit the button.
Yeah, exactly. Hit it accidentally. Yeah, you're right.
So just 4 minutes to go in our final International GT race of the day, 3 in all. And you were saying John Ehrlich won the Enduro? Justin Ehrlich?
He won the Enduro in the Stuttgart Cup, 3.4 liter. Yep. Looks like Will Walks has got him covered though on his 2 sprint races, so it'll be possibly William taking the 2 sprint races and Justin taking the Enduro. So happy for all the drivers here that there was so much dry time today. You know, as the forecast was not very good. And you know, that the opportunity that he had dry track, the challenge of running in the rain, you know, just presents so many elements. You know, so you know, and this racetrack can be very unforgiving. Once you think you're going fast on the racetrack, wait till you get on the grass, a wet grass situation, and you'll be heading out for the woods. So I'm just glad that they had
fairly quickly.
Yeah, dry tarmac, and it's been a good race weekend because of that. And for the fans and spectators, you know, life under the umbrella is not that much fun.
Well, it's a Riesman that's going to win, but whether it's Paul or John, it doesn't matter. It's been a good performance. He's way out in front. Steve Katz has put on a good performance. He led early on.
Yeah, hats off to him, because that 3.6 liter car really showed the way to the 3, 8, and 4 liter guys, that's for sure, no doubt. And I think Steve has the photo documentation to show it, but he has the most air time at the uphill.
Ah, he does?
Yes, he does. He launches that thing. I think he must pull back on the stick and to get that thing up in the air, because it's a good front
back.
Yes, the front and rear wheels off the ground.
Wow.
Roland Viet making his way through onto No Name Straight for the uphill. That beautiful Ferrari.
Yeah, lovely looking car, isn't it? And you know, you talk about the Porsche being so dominant in sports cars. Well, the 458, when it came out, it had a decade of dominance, didn't it?
Yeah, certainly did. Yes, it took a while, really, even for Porsche. They were kind of off doing some other things and so forth, as manufacturers do. Their focus was elsewhere, but they came back. Last lap. Yep, being shown.
And this has been a walk in the park for Paul or John Riesman, but it doesn't matter. Good to hear Skip Barber earlier talking about how Lime Rock continues.
Yes, yeah, saw Skip this morning. Yep. And handing the keys over to the new ownership group. Which,
and they sound like they've got the same passion, local guys.
Yes.
And there's the checkered flag then.
Yeah.
And Paul Riesman in the 77, or is it John? Makes the difference. And second place goes to Steve Katz. And coming quickly to the line. Good finish.
Yeah. Just behind
Ciappatini. And lights flashing. There's your winner in the Interlaken car.
Yeah, good to see the our presenting sponsor represented well here.
I guess you get a free room, do you? if you get the win?
Yeah, I think he does.
Probably.
Yeah, I think he does get that. But congratulations to that, and good to see the Interlake car up front and presenting sponsor.
Let's take a look at the highlights then of our last international GT race. Good start, clean start by all, and side-by-side action early on in perfect conditions here at Lime Rock. Riesman out front with Katz chasing him down. Plenty of overtaking and some good runs. But Riesman was the man early on. Locking up, that was the biggest moment for the 77. That could have gone horribly wrong, but once that was over, he settled down again. And despite everybody chasing it home, it was always going to be the man in the Interlaken 77. Came across the line to take the checkered flag. Riesman takes the win ahead of Katz and Ciappatini.
Fantastic. Thank you much.
Thank you, sir.
Enjoyed our time here at Lime Rock, my old home track, and it's on to Mid-Ohio. So for International GT, thank you very much.
Quick look at the results then. The feature race 2 for IGT sees Paul Riesman taking the win in the 77, Steve Katz second, Ciappatini in third place, Giovannis, in fourth position, Roland Viet in fifth, and Jeffrey Freeman sixth. John Riesman in seventh, but it could have been the other way around, and I think Ken's right. William Wax is eighth, and Lukazic in ninth.